Hello, my name is Amy Fulmer. I am a Blue Diamond US Founder 2.0, and I just wanted to share a little about our experience that we've had and success that we've had over the last 4 years since I started with doTERRA. We have a total of 14 founders on our team, and I have been consistently Blue Diamond for about the last year. I started right before the pandemic, and I was actually at the top of a different company and really got clear that where I was not going to allow me to create the level of time freedom and financial freedom that I felt called to create, even though I was at the top rank and I was in their top 10 earners. And for 6 years in a row, I was in their top 10 people. So I love the direct selling model. I love the way we get to truly change people's lives and build a community and work on our own schedule and be your own business owner without having the investment of millions of dollars like you would for starting a company from scratch typically. And so I actually interviewed top leaders of lots of different companies, the CEO of another up and coming wellness company, and really felt like doTERRA was the very best place to build for the long term, the best vehicle out there. And so I'm just going to share some of the things that I feel like have really made a difference with why our team has had so much success over the last several years. We've nearly doubled every single year for the last 3 years. So we've had, well, almost, I guess, since the beginning, because it was really more than doubling that first year, right? Anyway, so one of the things that we have really done differently since coming to doTERRA is being mindful of this audience of the early and late majority. And we have a really high close rate on our team. For the first several years, more than 75% of my team was in Utah. Now it's still over half of my team is in Utah. And so, in the most saturated place, but we're having amazing success and high enrollment rates. People book classes all the time off of our workshops or, different events. And so there's a lot of things that we've done that I feel like have really made the difference with connecting in with people where they're at and helping them just be in a place where it's easier for them to say yes. And so I just want to talk a little bit about this early and late majority and what that means, why it matters. There's something called the diffusion of innovation. And this is basically a statistical pattern that is seen when a society develops a new product or process. And I love statistics. I think it's so fascinating. But one of the things that they find is that this group of adopters in the market consistently fall into these same kind of groups and patterns, no matter the product or the process. And so they have the innovators. They're like, they're making all the new things happen, right? They are the ones that are, they started doTERRA, and the very beginning people in doTERRA, so many of them were innovators, right? Brand new, excited about the new concept, want to bring it to everyone. And then those early adopters are, they're joining pretty quickly because they see the benefit, they see the vision, they're more visionary, they trust their gut more, they go off more off of instinct, they don't need that social proof. But this next group, which is the very, the early and late majority, are the largest market share, honestly, if you want to use that word, of people that will adopt a product. And they're actually quite different than the innovators and early adopters in the way they think, in the way that they purchase, in the approach that they take to things, the way that they, adopt something new into their lifestyle. And so I want to talk about this. Right now, most of the innovators and early adopters are already in doTERRA. They already have accounts. They've already built teams. And we really are at this early and late majority in society for adopting essential oils and what we have to offer at doTERRA. And so let's talk a little bit about these groups. There's a lot of studies and research into this about what makes these groups different, how do they tick, how do they think, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the early majority. So one of the biggest things with the early majority is they do not take people's word for it. They want to, the early and the late majority, they want to see the research. They're a little bit skeptical. They don't want to, have the wool pulled over their eyes. They want to do their due diligence and make sure that there's real evidence in what information they're receiving. And so honestly, so I'm an early majority kind of person. I went to a doTERRA class 13 years ago, or maybe 12 years ago. I didn't buy anything because, again, of course she's going to tell me these are the best oils and the other oils aren't pure. And then I went to that class and then I went and bought oils at the health food store and embarrassingly even Walmart, because there was no research and no evidence that was convincing enough for me to believe what she had to say. Now, again, those early adopters, they could feel it and they're instinctive. And so that was great for them. They would purchase off of the stories and off of, people's word, but the early majority needs research. And so one of the key things is to share research consistently anytime you're connecting with a potential customer. Some of the key ones that I recommend that we always share in every class, and we do this throughout my team. We have a very large team, and anytime someone's teaching a one-on-one or a class, they're sharing this Roseman University study where, and it is in actually, if you go to the early and late majority folder that I've shared, this Did You Know Facts, the link to that is in here. And I highlight this and talk about this every single class I teach. And every time someone does a one-on-one or any kind of a class, they're always highlighting this Roseman University study that showed that they actually have a more potent and powerful effect in the body than any of the other brands tested. And then there's also reference consumer, what's it called? There's a consumer advocate agency where they test essential oils and they test a lot of different brands. And again, they've shown most oils have contaminants and fillers, and doTERRA is consistently pure according to their testing. Anyway, so this is something that we, if we're doing a Zoom class, we have a slide that's highlighting this. Those slides, I've had so many leaders on my team that have contributed to that. Right here, let's see, where is it? Trying to find it, and I'm not seeing it. That's really funny. Okay, it was in here, so I'll have to look and see where that was. But anyway, there's notes that go along with the slideshow. Oh, here it is right here. I was just looking for not a PowerPoint one. Anyway, so the wellness workshop is where you can see that in there's a slide that talks about the Roseman University study, and really, really powerful and important to share that piece of information for this, early and late majority audience. So also a lot of those other facts we share throughout the class, especially in an in-home class. We'll have the people at the workshop actually read some of those that relate to different things that we're talking about in the class. So really important. So a couple other things about the early and late majority. The early majority, they need to have their own experience, right? They need to experience it for themselves. And they really are, they care a lot about maximizing the benefit, right? They're not just going to buy something for one little thing. They want to know about the maximum benefit. So understanding the time saving, the money saving, comparing it to pharmaceuticals and some of those stats that we use in that Did You Know document, where it's helping them see why they need an alternative to what they're typically using, which is their ibuprofen or pharmaceuticals or things like that. And there's several studies in there that really help build that case. So that one is really, really important. And then especially for the late majority, I mean, they really are a little bit harder to convince, but I feel like we're still bringing even a lot of these people in. That money back guarantee, knowing you're going to be supporting them. It's so important to not only do that wellness consult, but to do what we call a second wellness consult, where a week or two after you do the wellness consult, you schedule a time that you're having a phone call or you're voice memoing back and forth and you're checking in, giving them additional hand holding, because you would think that they would reach out to you if there was a problem, but usually they won't. They don't like to speak up with things like that. You need to be asking them, and you need to be the one reaching out. Anyway, so those are things that just really make a difference for that group. And I have found that as we take that approach where we're speaking more their language and addressing things in a way that matters to them, that makes a huge difference, as well as, speaking to their needs and pain points, super important. When we go to close them, definitely, the whole sale is all about, let me share this one more thing, actually, that's been really important in this group here. So this custom enrollment form, This is something that we use at the beginning of every class. And if it's online, they're filling out a virtual form at the end. But it's similar. We're asking them about their health concerns and what pain points they have, right? So we have them fill this out at the beginning. And throughout the class, we tell them, we're going to keep this form. They don't get to take this home. But this makes it so that every time you connect with them, whether you're closing them at the class or you're following up for their wellness consult or the second wellness consult, or even that third check-in, even a week or two later, again, is really helpful for most people. We constantly have their pain points in front of us, right? So we're always speaking to those. That's really important to reach this market. It needs to be very individual, and they need to know for them why it matters and why they need to have these products in their home. And so, just you're going to make a recommendation of a kit or two, and you're going to say, because, and you're going to tie it back to whatever they have on here. Is there, if they need more energy or they have pain or sleep or whatever. And then also in this note spot is where we ask them, at the end of the class, the 3-question close, right? If they'd like to get the products at a discount, they probably thought of a few people that would really benefit from learning about this. If you want to be able to get a book for free when you host, and take home the keychain with a few, key oils in it, no, maybe, or yes, if you're willing to share with a few people online or in your home, right? You're speaking to how easy it is. It's all about their friends, right? It's all about sharing the benefits. And then getting some of those things that are enticing. And then 3, if they'd like to learn more about earning any extra income with doTERRA. So having that in that notes spot right there with their enrollment form and their health needs all in one place makes it so easy to dial in with these customers and close them and help them have a great experience with doTERRA. And then the last thing I wanted to share about this early and late majority, when it comes to building the business, especially, it's so helpful for them. They need really concrete, a clear path, right? That they can wrap their brain around and be super clear on. And so this has been super helpful to be able to show and help people grasp how the growth can happen and how easy it can be. So let me present this so that you can see that a little bit better. But this is based on if people are enrolling 2 customers a month. Then every 3 months, they're finding 1 advocate that can enroll 2 customers a month, which is very doable, right? Like, this is a very minimal path to growth, but showing how simple it is and showing the power of that duplication and compounding growth really makes a light bulb go on for people. And it helps them get really clear on, okay, I'm enrolling those customers, and it could be more than that, but minimum. And then I'm consistently doing the work to look for other wellness advocates that want to share and helping them duplicate this process. And so you can see, if you're doing 2 a month and then every 3 months, you're bringing on 1 person that's going to be a wellness advocate and do what you're doing, versus just bringing on 1 person a month and every 6 months, you're going to bring on 1 wellness advocate who's going to do what you do. And so you can see the difference here. Just after 6 months, you've got 36 people versus 9. Watch what happens as compounding growth and duplication starts to kick in, though. It's pretty incredible. So after 10 months, you're going to have 128 versus 23 people. But look what happens even more. This duplication keeps happening. You're just doing the same thing. You're just enrolling your 2. You're finding that person every 3rd month that's gonna go and do the same thing. Look what happens after 12 months. 9 times the volume, we're doing double the effort, right? Because of the power of duplication, multiplication, and compounding growth. So I think just helping people see a really clear pathway of how to grow is really, really impactful as well. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you some ideas on how to utilize some of those resources and how to really reach this early and late majority audience for customers as well as builders.